Thank you for coming to the contest preparation series, and I changed the name because it's obviously going to be a whole lot more than just posing. And when you hear what I have lined up for the rest of the next 2 months, it will blow away those who have competed before, and those who have not competed before. You will be so prepared for your first show that you'll think this is easy. How come everybody doesn't do it? I am Herb Cables, and I thank you for coming. Next to me is Mr. Sly Ajay, who is a head judge and promoter down in Florida for the OCB. He has graciously come up to help out and put in his 2 cents, which to me is worth gold. The fact that he came up here is just awesome for me, and we work well off of each other. So I'm going to be presenting everything that is in your handouts. I will not read from the handouts. We will go over things, and I'll allow questions as we go along. Try not to get too far ahead when it comes to the questions. Good morning. You can leave it open there. More coming.
Principal's office.
Wait.
But and the handouts are on the table unless you printed anything I sent you. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with choosing an organization or choosing a show. So if you go to your handout, the very first 2 pages of your handout, I just listed a lot of different federations and organizations here in the Atlanta area. The largest known one is the SNBF. They've been around here about 15 years. It's a national organization that I competed in and got my pro card through, and do a lot of judging with them, as well as a few others. But a lot of times people always question, what else is there out there? Are there others out there? Who do I want to go to? Why would I want to go there? So what I did was I compiled some different organizations for you and their email addresses and just little synopsises that they put on their websites about their organization. And if Sly wants to plug his organization, the OCB, feel free to.
OCB?
That was awesome. Do you see why I find him like gold? He is a wealth of information. But primarily, and I say this and not trying to put one higher than another, I look more towards the natural organizations just purely because I want to be in organizations that drug test, whether it's urinalysis or polygraph. I prefer those because I want to know it's a level playing field. Yes, some people do get under the radar and somehow they'll beat a test one way or the other. That happens fine. If nothing else, we've thinned the herd. When we compete, at least we know we're competing against like-minded people. There are organizations that do not drug test. And you can probably assume that they have a horse syringe full of stuff in them, men and women, even bikini. People will put whatever they can in them to give them that competitive advantage. That is not what I choose to do. I don't tell people don't compete in those things. If you want to, I think it's a good idea because it'll really challenge you. I competed in an NPC show and won my class, and it was probably the biggest form of flattery to me there was that a natural person knocked out a whole lot of people that I know they were sticking in them. So it does put you, like I said, on a different playing field when you compete, but you have to be okay with if you get smoked, it's okay. And we'll talk about judging and all that stuff a little bit later. But definitely check out the different organizations. Some of them are local, regional, and worldwide. Some of them are qualifiers, so you can do a show here that might qualify you for another event somewhere else. I typically don't tell you what shows to go to. If you look to me or your trainer or coach, friend, whatever, I'll give you some suggestions on places to get into that I might have experience in or that I've judged. I've judged some shows that I didn't put those organizations on here because I just didn't feel very good about those organizations. There are other organizations that I've heard of. Some are brand new and I don't know what the criteria is like or how the people are. So if you just want to test something out and say, Herb, this is close to another show, think I should do it? Yeah, go ahead. But the key is do your own homework. I've done a lot of homework for you in these pages, but asking me, so how do they want you to walk? How do they want you to pose? How do they want you to... you read it yourself. You're all grown-ups here. You can look up that information. If it doesn't tell you, you can always call, because they have phone numbers on their sites as well. So give them a call. If it still isn't clear to you, then by all means, I don't mind helping out.
Yeah, what you don't want to do is what happened one time I was here when I was with SMBF. I was judging an SMBF show and I hadn't checked my phone. I checked my phone on a Saturday morning. This guy called me on a Friday night and he was going to do an NPC show. He was going to do men's physique. He's calling me, and then the SMBF guy asking me what they're looking for in NPC, and his show was the next day. You don't want to do that. You want to know what's going on before you get into that show. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, if you know or have an idea what show you want to do, you should be doing that homework now. This is January. If you have a show in March, you're probably right on time. If you have an April, May, or June show, you are definitely on time. Preparation now is the key. Preparation a week or two or a month before, you just assume, tell you right now, as judges we can tell, and we won't even look at you. But then again, we'll hit the judging. Any questions on the different federations or choosing a show? Awesome. The order.
Anybody awake?
That's cool. All right.
They don't all tell you who they cross over with. Like if you end up going pro in one, like you have to solicit to them, am I a pro in your organization as well?
Great question.
Or is there some kind of...
That's a really good question. Well, I'm with OCB. OCB and NBF are sister federations, and they funnel into IFPA. And IFPA is accepting, right now, I just talked to them, pros from WNBF, NGA, and now SMBF as well. But only if you had your pro card the last 2 years. After that, it's going to be IFPA only. So some of these folks, you have to get a card through their system.
So
definitely check that out.
You received a pro card to SMBF and you wanted to do Muscle Mania or Fame, that might not be a pro status for them, so you could be in an open category in their show.
I have a WBFF, is that not encouraged or?
And I didn't look up every organization on the planet,
Okay.
because I literally could have put 5 pages of organizations on here.
Oh.
So I stopped with the ones that I know that do come locally and regionally.
Oh. Only because we'll be in California during the time of a show, we're around the same prep time.
Right.
But I don't know anything about it. Seems a little bit more pageant.
Right, and yeah, the ones, unfortunately, I don't know the out-of-state ones off the top of my head, and it's between Sly and I'm sure we could make phone calls, because as we grow in what we do, prepping people, having shows, we're going to be in contact with more and more organizations and people throughout the U.S. We'll probably get a lot more word about what's a good thing to go to, what might you want to step back from, what is it more about, things like that. So we're still in our infancy. I know we look like we're worldwide already, but yeah, we're still on the ground floor. Anything else? Awesome. The order I put the handout in is women's class to bikini into bodybuilding. Well, at least it should be. I very well could have hopped out of order. But what we're going to do is start off with women's figure and what the physique is for women's figure. This is where going to the other websites and finding out what their criteria is key, because different organizations look for different things. You might do one show and win, and then you go to another organization and you end up 5th, 6th, 7th, and you're like, but I look the same. Some of those other girls were in that show and I beat them, and how come they beat me this time? So I just put 3 different organizations bios or what their criteria was for figure. And if Sly, you want to bring up OCB, you're more than welcome to talk about theirs first.
Well, with OCB, well, it's pretty much similar. We're looking for in figure an athletic physique, but we're not looking for extra striations and things like you see in a bodybuilder, which is similar to SMBF. In fact, it pretty much mirrors SMBF. The big difference is the presentation. With SMBF, you're doing a triangle, and with OCB, you're doing a T. So that's the only major difference. Other than
We
that,
will be
body
getting
type
into
is
the
same.
walks too.
That's pretty much it.
Okay, and if you look on here, like SMBF talks about what they are looking for: poise, artistic presentation, high display of elegance, personality, even skin complexion and tone, fit body condition. Now 2A, this is where I could get stuck, and I know a lot of other people get stuck. Soft, shapely, athletic build. So what's a soft athletic? If I heard soft athletic, I'd almost think what bikini should be. And how I break it up is a bikini body looks like someone, a female who likes to do cardio at the gym. She might do a body pump class or two, you know, lift 5, 10-pound weights every now and then, hop up and down, do a woo in a lot of classes. That's her thing. On the weekends, she probably doesn't watch her diet nearly as much, but Monday through Friday is dead on. A figure body, they're more Oxygen magazine cover. So they're someone who likes weights, classes are probably boring to them. They like to hit the weights, they'll do a class or two. They like to run probably too much because they think that'll make their booty harder, and it never works. They also watch their diet all the time. They feel guilty if they eat something wrong, and then they'll probably go do more cardio because they think that's going to burn off that extra cookie that they ate or box. So, I know, did you notice that? I was having fun doing that part. So, the figure person is definitely more of a fitness model. So you are going to see the semblance of a six-pack. You will start to see the musculature and symmetry in the shoulders and in the legs. When they turn around, the glutes are hopefully firm, and the hamstrings do match their quadriceps in the depth of muscularity, and their back has a nice V taper. There definitely is a physique that you see, and you'll see in the future pages, that looks more like a diamond when they're standing there. So there's the difference between bikini and figure, where bodybuilding, full muscles, the muscle bellies are a lot fuller. There are more striations. Anytime you hear the term ripped or shredded, that is the leanness that a bodybuilder is trying to achieve, which is different than figure. Now, I know Sly's seen them, I've seen them. You'll see people in bikini that look ripped or lean or hard. That person should not even come in the top 5. Figure,
depending on who else is up on
well,
stage.
and unfortunately, that is the key.
That's the problem. Sometimes people in the crowd will look and say, wow, she got second place looking, you know, kind of ripped like that, but you look at the rest of the competition, that's why she came in second. So it will depend on who else is up on that stage.
That's a big thing, and when we get into judging, you'll definitely hear more. And the difference between the figure and bodybuilders, you'll see some of these figure women come out, and your jaw drops because they're ripped, their shoulders are out to here, their waist is in the here. They look amazing, and again, depending on who else is on the stage, they really shouldn't be winning. Because that is not a soft athletic look, that is a hard look. That is someone who probably didn't want to go through all the posing of bodybuilding, and they like heels. Because quite honestly, that person, that's not the physique that would be on the stage for figure. So a lot of times we'll get feedback after judging, like, well, I don't understand, she's ripped and huge or this or that, how come she beat me? Well, maybe you just didn't have enough of whatever, and that's why she got ahead of you. Now, I also put NPC on here. And I just like, it's pretty basic and simple and straightforward how they define a figure class. Small degree of muscularity with separation, no visible striations. Overall muscle tone with shapely lines, overall firmness, not excessively lean. So that kind of, and I like those words, not excessively lean, because a lot of times just the female competitors for figure just diet too long, do too much cardio, and they get excessively lean and you lose muscle. The more you cardio and the less nutrients you put in your body, you lose that muscle fullness, and that's where that excessively lean look comes in. And that's not what we're striving for. We need to see some shape. Fitness model. All right. Any questions on kind of how some of the different people word it? Any feedback for those of you who have competed? What you've seen? Are these pretty accurate from when you've been on stage? Great. All right, figure attire. Pretty much it's always a, well, unless it is written, I know one piece has been taken out of some organizations. It's a two-piece bikini. You also are wearing high heels. Typically it's 3 to 6 inches, and you can wear some bling and some jewelry if you would like. The two-piece suits are going to have some bling on them. This is kind of, and I don't want to say beauty pageant, but there is some kind of appeal to this. You are going to have your makeup on. You're probably going to have your nails done. I have seen crazy big eye lashes. I've seen glitter in the eye. I've seen all kinds of crazy things. We can't see that really, so you don't have to get too nutty, but a bracelet, you know, maybe some earrings, never really a necklace, maybe an anklet, but glitter on your suit, whatever, bling it out, have a good time with that. Suits do get a little bit pricey. Not the next one, but the third workshop of the series, I'm having a suit designer actually come in, and she's going to show you all the different cuts of suits, what goes well with different skin tones, hair colors, body types, because a lot of people pick the wrong suit for their body type. If you have excessively long legs, certain suits will not look good on you. If you have implants, certain suits won't look right on you. If your breasts are small, certain suits just won't look right on you. So she's going to address all those things when she comes. So that'll be a big help, and you'll be able to get to try on some suits as well, see what works for you.
Who is it? Can I ask that?
No, it's gotta be, you know, a surprise.
She's looking at you like...
She's dying. She's like, really? You're really gonna do that to me? A suit to remember, Jen? Yeah. So, anyway, yeah, she's gonna come and do that. And I'm also gonna have a makeup person on that day as well. And in 2 weeks, we're gonna have a tanning person come in and do spray tans. And I'll do a dream tan application so you can see the differences between the two. But anyway, there are different skin colors or skin tones you'll need between bikini, figure, and bodybuilding also. And it doesn't matter how dark you might already be, you probably will need a tan. So the very first thing, well, depending on the organization, some come out in a group comparison, some come out with an individual routine. So you have to know how your organization is set up. With the group comparisons, there are 2 different types of poses you can do for your face the front. The one that I put on first is your more traditional one. Your heels are together, knees slightly bent, chest and shoulders up. We are trying to make you look, like I put under there, a diamond. You are looking from a broad top down to a narrow bottom, and that is the way that you're going to display your physique. Now, SNBF happens to do what I call more of a sexy face front, where there's one leg leads with a quarter turn in the body, and then present yourself that way. Know your organization. Majority do the traditional face front. From here in the group comparisons, the head judge, will be calling out different quarter turns. So the first call will be quarter turn to the right, and then you will go to your right. Please not their right. Your right. And then you'll turn a little sexy way. Your feet will be together. Next page. Your feet will be together. Some will have a toe up. Know your organization if that's allowed or not. You could have a toe up. What the judges are looking for is starting down at the calf, looking at calf, quadricep, hamstring, balance, glute, tightness, taper in the abdomen. And now you're pulling that shoulder back. We're still trying to maintain that diamond. We still want the top to be the tall part, or the broad area, down to a taper. From there, nice sexy turn, quarter to the right. When you do that, you move your long hair out of the way, and now you go back to what that face front pose looked like, except the difference is you are going to do more of a posterior pelvic tilt where your hips go down, so you can eliminate the gluteal fold between the hamstring and the glute. That way it makes your hamstrings look longer. It takes away anything that might drop a little bit lower than you want it to drop, and you will display your back in the biggest V possible. The thing that we as judges are looking for are not seeing the bat wings or the scapula stick out, which is probably the hardest thing for a female to pose. And guys, trust me, have that same issue with the bodybuilding. This is where a show is lost or won, from behind. Most women, guys have this problem too, but most women in figure are very quad dominant and very hamstring glute weak. It's that overabundance of cardio that you like to do is quad dominant. You cannot walk on a treadmill on an incline and not engage your quadricep first. You are going to do 1,000,000 reps that way, and you'll do 0 back here. Weights are the only thing that's going to get this right. So avoid all that cardio because you want to win, and you're going to win from behind. Do you have any input on that?
Yeah, he's right on that. We've had a lot of shows where we have a whole bunch of ladies up there, men too, as far as bodybuilding goes, and you don't know for sure, but once you turn around, you know, really, it's real quick. And posing your back is very important. I'd probably say, what, 75–80% of women that pose their backs wrong, and they lose it just from posing it wrong. Also, one more thing to interject is with the quarter turns, not all federations are going to have you in that stance, in that diamond stance. Some are going to have you in that traditional stance that he just talked about in the front. Going to have you doing that on the sides as well. So it's going to be feet together and doing that. And
yeah,
for sure.
I was going to say, I have seen where the side pose is almost just like that front pose. So that's a very good point.
Again, know which federation, what they want each federation.
So the next quarter turn to the right will be a mirror image of what you did on the first quarter turn, and then they'll call you back to facing front. Now, some federations will exit the whole group off the stage so you can come up and do your individual. Some will leave the group on the stage. This is where most of the time it's permittable to do what I call the sexier face front, where you have one foot slightly in front of you and you are accentuating your body this way. This would be nightmarish to stand in for the 15–20 minutes you'd stand there as each person walks. So keep yourself looking good, always smile, always look like you can do this for a half hour to an hour without budging. Because some of you in the last show had to stand up there for a half hour without budging. And that is miserable if you are not prepared. Okay. Figure walking. I've put just a handful of the different ones depending on the organization and what they had on their website. With the NPC, one of the things that they do is, and I put it right in numerical order, hello. Hi. Handouts are there. Hi. You can come on in. I mean, at least we got 3 guys in here. This helps us a lot. Yeah. We appreciate it.
Number from
So with the first one, starting at point 1, you would start at the back of the stage, you would walk to the center, and then you would do your quarter turns all by yourself. And then after you face the front, they'll tell you which way to exit the stage. So, know your organization. And that is how I know NPC does it.
And don't camp. Don't come up there and stay up there and, like for a half hour and then turn for a half hour. I mean, you look great. You don't want to see that long. So just maybe count to 3 in your head, then make your turn. There are a lot of folks that like to camp.
Yeah. 3 seconds is definitely more than enough. All right. So on the OCB site, they have you doing a T-walk, which is more traditional of most organizations. So you start at the back with your face front. When you go to the front, you'll stop again. Then you'll walk to this corner. And correct me if I'm wrong. Here you go. You'll do a face front, face the rear. Once you hit your face front, start.
Pause. Rewind. Keep on going back.
Which way? Back to here?
To this point. And we say this to at least in SMDF, we brief everyone. Make sure that you understand that these are the judges right here. Guess what? You guys are judges today. So, the thing is that he's facing the judges and not facing the people all the way in the cheap seats on that side. You need to understand that the judges are the ones that are looking at you, so make sure your back goes in that angle toward them every time. Focus on the judges.
Then you move that hair out of the way, walk across to the other side, and if you note how I stand, which we're going to hit the next workshop, for that face to front, like he was saying, I'm not facing the front this way as if I'm looking in a mirror. I'm facing because judges 1 through 5 are there. I want them to see me the best. Never pose to the crowd. They are not judging you. Pose to the judges. Look all the judges in the eye or slightly above their head. But your head and your posing should be to the judges. Biggest thing that we notice are people like this way and looking all that way. That judge doesn't get the best look.
Yeah, they're looking at Uncle Ned, but Uncle Ned's not judging them.
Uncle Ned's screaming how awesome you are, and you're like, yeah, I won. Uncle Ned's screaming. Uncle Ned is not judging you. If I can't see you well, your score just went down. So then you'll face the rear again. The hair, pose it. Back. One final center. Slight look over the shoulder. And then your sayonara, which I'll let Heather demonstrate first. And now when you, actually, you guys walk off from, OCB walks off after you hit the center, front and center. Then you'll exit the stage, left or right, whatever they say. But again, this is all on their website, so just take a gander. And the third one, yes?
During the walk, is there something specific the judges are looking for during the walk? As far as...
I want to see, for me, I want to see confidence.
Yep.
I want to see that you're up there. This isn't your first day in heels. I want to see you standing upright, and I want to see you keeping yourself not stiff, but, I don't know, fluid muscle. I want to know that you own this stage, and it is yours. I am not, personally, looking for... I don't need you stalking the stage, but I do want to see some confidence. You own the stage. Not an over excessive hip movement per se, because you're still trying to display muscle. So there should be a bit of sexiness and allureness to it, but it shouldn't be over the top grandstanding.
And we also know that you're going to be nervous because you're standing up there in bikini in front of a crowd of people. The thing is, confidence comes from preparation. The fact that you guys are here right now means that you're going to be a whole lot more, or should be a whole lot more confident up on stage, because you know that you did your homework and you did everything you could do. So when you're up on stage, when I was a powerlifter and I was deadlifting, the judges are standing right there in front of me, And I, in my head, said, I think this guy doesn't think I'm going to be able to pull this. So I had that kind of confidence, that kind of thing. So you want to have some confidence. We have people that are looking up in the rafters. Another thing as far as confidence is when you get to this point, you start looking at the X and you're not looking at us. It tells me you're not ready for this. So make sure that you're looking at the judges the whole time. Let them know this is, you know, I'm bringing this. This is for you. So.
And that's a great point.
Very important.
Because when we would give feedback at the end of a show, there was a woman who came up to me after, and she said, I don't understand why I didn't place better. Everybody said I looked better. Oh, by the way, your friends, family, relatives should say you look great and should have won. If your friends, family, relatives do not say that, go find different friends, family, relatives. Go find new ones. They are all going to tell you you won. Okay? But she, of course, came to me and told me, oh, and her trainer. Yeah, her trainer also said that she should have won. So anyway, I said, tell me, what were the judges doing when you were walking from X to X? She just kind of looked at me. I don't know. If I ask some of you, I know you, oh, you were smiling, or this one was making a face, or this one was writing, or whatever. That means you were looking at the judges as you were walking. This is not confidence. You know where the X is. When you make that next pose, you can gander over to it and then walk.
There are no points off if you're 2 inches shy of the X. Don't worry about that. That's just a little reference point for you to make sure that you use the whole stage so the judges, all the judges can see you. And that's all that is. So a lot of people focus too much on that X and you don't need to do that.
The final organization, since it is a more local one, is the SMBF, and they do what I call an A-frame or an A-walk. So you would walk out of your group to front and center, just in front of your group. After you stand, you'll walk to X1, do your face front, do your face rear, do your face front, and then walk to the other corner, mirror that, same deal.
Don't forget to flip your hair.
I'm sorry, I forget that every now and then. And then walk back to the center, and then do your sayonara. But it's pretty basic, same thing, about 3 seconds a turn. I have some little things that we'll get into the next time on how to turn, how to make it look better, make it consistent so the judges are good in getting the best look of you on either side, and how to get them to focus on you while you're walking. Any more figure questions?
When you're doing that, you know, we look, this is a body competition, you know, no doubt, but if you have everything on point, there's sometimes when two ladies are running neck and neck, we got to figure something out. And if we have to figure something out, wow, she presented better. That's the edge. So make sure you do everything, get everything on point.
I see all kinds of different hands. You got the claw, you got the point, you got the...
Hey, don't point. Okay, let's just, right now, there are no guns in figure. I've seen guns, but there are no guns. Hands, how I teach hands, I say it frames your body. So if your hand is back here, and this is very loose and relaxed, but I just keep it here. You can keep it flat. The key is never rigid. You aren't hard here. You aren't hard here. It's just kind of a smoother inline thing. So it's just kind of how I teach it. I don't want you stiff. Do you have anything that you don't like to see versus
I don't like
to?
stiffness either, yeah. It's got to be comfortable.
Yeah, it's just, it claws that, this looks stiff, okay, that's an eagle, okay, we're not, this isn't a talon up there, just kind of flow. Maybe I do that too easily. Okay, so, bikini, and I don't know how many bikini people are here.
We got any bikini ladies?
One, okay. Bikini or figure? Okay. I hear I don't sell this well, so I will be very politically correct, even though I detest those words. So, figure, I mean bikini. Basically, it's a softer look. You should look like you exercise. It is more about the presentation. It's still about the body. It's a little bit more about that presentation. You should look fit. You shouldn't be hard. There should be some semblance of muscle in there, but it shouldn't be overpowering. It shouldn't be as defined or as full as figure or definitely bodybuilding. When figure is presented, they're looking at two things: the front of you and the back of you. When you present your front, it is more for the allure. This is where the sex appeal, the bling, the sauntering will definitely come in. This is when you bring attitude. So when you are standing, they do group comparisons and individual walks as well. When you are standing in your face front, and I just took a picture from, I believe it was an NPC show, you have several different people standing. There are, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know if I put it in the order or not, but most feet are apart. There is a movement to one side. So now we have the hand on the hip, movement to one side, one arm straight. We are right now making kind of an hourglass, wide on the bottom to a narrow taper, wide to the top. Some people, as you see the girl in the middle, do almost more of that kind of figure stance, but it's more relaxed. She's not trying to be muscular about it, she's trying to be smoother or softer about it. Find out what your organization wants. Most want here. Now, when they call for your face the rear of the stage, now it is here. And remember that whole posterior pelvic tilt to get rid of that glute fold? Well, it's more accentuated this time. And it just keeps on going. Because the judges are looking at your booty. Period. So, if there's any shyness whatsoever, okay, this is what the judges are looking at. You are getting judged that way. And if you see, again, most are standing with the feet apart. Some have one hand on the hip, some have two. Sometimes I've seen hands together and pushed out. It's really what's going to accentuate from the calves to the hamstrings to the glutes. They are not looking for musculature. So if your scapula happens to be sticking out, that's okay. I wouldn't accentuate or push it out. And then again, I wouldn't try to draw your lats out like figure or bodybuilding. Just more of relax, push it out. And I like to say, be careful that you don't look like you are one step away from getting on the pole. Because that's really kind of what it could get to. And you will see some women who go way over the top. Do not emulate. And this is why I don't sell it well.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Quite honestly, I have a hard time judging it. Just because I don't want to see a show or an event where I might not feel comfortable with my wife, or I had a daughter up on there. Just because of, thank you, baby. Just because of how the posing. But I'm not saying don't, because some people just have that attitude, have that movement, and can do it well and tastefully, and please go ahead and do it. But other judge, please jump on in, because like I said, I don't sell it well.
Well, the only thing I want to look at is if you look at that second picture and you look at the butts, you can see butts. So be careful, depending on the federations. Most of them, this would be illegal, some of them.
Yeah,
Some
half the federations, that would be illegal. But
And
I'm
some
seeing
say
it
it's
more
illegal.
and more.
Some say it's illegal, but don't enforce it, and that's probably what happened on this stage.
It's not a thong, and they all say don't wear a thong, but it is like one cousin.
It's bootylicious. It's bootylicious. So,
It's the second cousin to the thong.
bootylicious on stage.
Because it's really, like I said, we're trying to accentuate the glutes in it, and that's what it does. So, and now on the individual, there is an individual walk as well, and I do have a couple there. When you are coming out, kind of like the OCB walk, your face front, then you come up to the center, face front again, give them a turn, face the rear. With facing the rear, if you're on the center of the stage, I'm always more conscious of the center of the body should be facing the judges. So no turn, face the front, and if you're facing the rear, you're going to be here again. When you go to your first X, and now you're kind of facing them, this time throw a different kind of appeal in there, drop the hips back, do a little head turn over the shoulder like you're trying to look at them. Give them a different look. When you hit this side of the stage, now you're going to hit it just a little bit differently. Look over to this side of the shoulder. Try to make sure, again, you're looking at the judges from two different sides. Then you're going to hit your center again, give them a little sayonara, and then you're walking off. And another one, they start you off on the back corner. You walk to the center, walk to the corner, hit another corner. Some I've seen just keep walking off the stage, depending on how big an organization is. Sometimes I've seen they walk out to the front, do a front back, and then get off. So again, go to the websites, find out what their criteria is, talk to some competitors. Thanks to Facebook, there are more than enough people out there who've been in more than enough shows that you can ask. And everybody likes to post their pictures, so you can look at their pictures and see how do they do it. They might not be the greatest, but at least you might be able to see some comparisons or some other shots for you.
And what I said earlier is you don't want to camp in each spot, but on the opposite side, you don't want to rapid fire it either. We've had people that do it just so fast. They get nervous, so you need to practice this, really practice. Because I can tell the folks that don't practice, they get nervous, they're up there in front of the folks, they want to get off stage as soon as they can. And if you get off stage as soon as you can, we don't get a chance to get a good look at you. So keep that in mind as well.
Oh, and the walk for bikini, this is where it's more of that sultry, I am hunting. Oh, this is where that leg will cross so you can get those hips going really nice, and then you throw it there. But that's really what this is about. It is definitely a different type of attitude than figure has. So, it's a lot different. All right, bodybuilding. And I put poses. We're going to kind of cover bodybuilding relatively quickly because I know there's only one or two. So, with bodybuilding, we have what we call our, I guess you say, mandatory poses where the quarter turns are. And this is where they're doing comparison of the symmetry of the bodybuilder. And the reason I want figure people and bikini people to hear each class is they understand what the other people in your sport are going through as well. You all prepare a little bit differently, but it's nice to be able to appreciate the kind of efforts that other people put into their sport. Because it might be something you want to flirt with. I'm not saying that any of you want to bodybuild per se, but to know how they pose, some bodybuilders might be able to get you to pose your back a little bit better because that's a mandatory thing for them. Or even standing with the face front or the quarter turns because it is